Howdy YouTube. So weeks 1 and 2 are now done for my marathon prep. So what I wanted to do is go over like everything that I've done for the past 2 weeks. I have a couple of, I guess, bullet points for things that I really want to touch on. But before I get started, I did want to start out with like a full disclaimer. Like, I am not an expert. I have never done this before. Everything that I'm talking about is just based on my own personal experience, what I've seen, what's kind of worked for me. And I've only been doing this for a year. I have lost 50 pounds, but I've had really high highs, really low lows. Sometimes I felt really fatigued from my diet. Like, I've been learning to adjust on the fly, and everything that I'm going to be talking about is based on my experience. And then this is the first time that I've trained for a marathon. This is the first time that I've trained for any long distance in like over 10 years. Like, I used to run in high school, but shoot, man, I never ran further than a 5K. So there's a full disclaimer. I'm no expert. I'm just a normal guy, just trying to do his best, who's been living a pretty healthy lifestyle for the past year. And yeah, hopefully you'll be able to learn something from this, but this is also like, this is really for me. So I'm making this because I found for myself the best way for me to learn and to adapt is to talk. Like, I'm just a yapper, I guess, by my nature. Like, I yap a lot. I just talk. So I found that talking out loud, talking to myself really helps me process information, helps me organize my thoughts, really gather what it is that I'm trying to say and do. So this is my way of keeping, I guess, myself accountable, but then also like keeping track of what it is that I've done. It's almost like a diary in a way. Like, I'm taking notes for how much I ran, how much I walked, what are my calories, everything like that. Like, I've been tracking macros, but for the training process, this is completely new. So this is a way for me to talk through everything that I'm going to be doing. So for the first 2 weeks, I'm just going to talk about what I have done, and then we'll talk about like what I'm going to be trying to do for the weeks, I guess, coming forward, to make sure that I am progressively overloading, to make sure that I am actually going to reach the goal that I'm setting for myself. And of course, the first goal is a half marathon. Then I'll be doing a Spartan race, and then more and more and more. And then the real goal is the marathon in January of 2026. So with that being said, I kind of wanted to talk about like what are the current bare minimums? What is it that I'm trying to do? So I have 4 things that are just bare minimum. I'm going to try to keep things as simple as possible. Try to keep it basic, just because like if it's too much to try to keep track of for myself, it's too much for most people. But like, I'm a simple guy. Like, I just want to know what my bare minimums are and then attack them every single day. Also, just a heads up, I have very high standards for myself, and this is just for me. I'm not saying anyone has to do this. I'm not saying that like this is what everyone should be doing. Like, this is just what I want to do for myself. This is who I want to be, and I am extremely dedicated to this. This is just like a physical aspect of my life, but like for talking to myself, I think about like mental health, spiritual health, everything basically. And I know that there is more to life than just like physical stuff, but for now, we're just talking about the physical stuff. So bare minimums: running, walking, weightlifting, and then I've added something new, which is additional aerobic exercise. So for running, I want to make sure that I'm doing a bare minimum of like miles per week, and then looking at how much I'm doing and then trying to add a little bit more. That's the progressive overloading part of it. So for running, typically what I'll do is 3 runs a week, and then I have different types of runs. So I will have a long run, an easy run, a speed run, and then like a tempo run, which might actually be the same thing. But my long runs are typically on Tuesdays, and then I have 2 run clubs a week. So on Thursday, I have a run club, and then on Sunday, I have a run club. For Thursdays, I do my slow work. So like I'm just running a 5K at like a good pace, low heart rate. And then for Sundays, I do my speed work. So I try to run a lot faster. So yeah, right now I think what I'm trying to average though is around 12 to 15 miles a week. And then later on what I'm gonna do is like try to add more and more miles, like especially for my long run, I'm gonna add a half mile every single week. And then I'm gonna deload, and then the next week I'll keep adding, and until I get to where I need to be. But then also my total miles run, I'm gonna try to increase that to at least like, I don't know, 25 miles or something like that. I don't know what the end number should be, but we'll adjust as we go along. So that's running basically just 3 times a week, 12 to 15 miles. Walking, my bare minimum for walking is I just wanna do 12,000 steps. If I run that day, I have less walking steps to do. If I don't run, I have more walking steps to do. So 12,000 steps is my bare minimum, but pretty much the way that I do walking is I'll either do it where I do a long run or a long walk in the morning or a long walk in the evening. But really what I used to do and what I found worked best for me was walking after every meal. Like every time that I eat, just go walk for 20 minutes or something like that. I used to really like that, but now it's kind of, to me, it's a little bit tedious. So I would rather just do like a long walk in the morning for like an hour and then a long walk in the evening for like an hour. It's just easier for me. But I think like digestive system, everything like that, like my stomach feels a lot better if I walk after I eat. It's supposed to be good for like your blood sugar, your blood glucose, whatever. I just did it because it seemed like a good thing to do. So you can do either way, just as long as you're hitting your steps. My bare minimum, number 3, is weightlifting. So I want to at least do weightlifting 4 times a week. If I am running that day, then I will try to do weightlifting that is less systemically fatiguing, like stuff that's gonna tax my whole body, my whole system a lot less. So like doing shoulders or abs or arms or something, stuff that recovers really quickly but doesn't take a whole lot of energy and effort to do. But then on days where I'm not running, I'll do more systemically fatiguing stuff. So like squats, bench, basically like doing my chest exercises, my back, my legs. Those are gonna be on days that I'm not running. And then obviously like I wanna have rest days in here. If I can have like 1 or 2 rest days, that'd be nice. I'm trying to still figure that out, but I'll talk about that here in a little bit. So I wanna make sure that I am still running, but then also progressively overloading weight in the gym as well, because I do like hypertrophy training is a pretty big part of what I'm trying to do as well. So I think they call that a hybrid athlete. That's what I am, or that's what I'm trying to be. And then number 4 is gonna be aerobic, additional aerobic exercises. So I found that as I was walking and running, I was reaching a point where I couldn't walk or run anymore without my hips hurting or my knees hurting. And it's not like I was actually hurting. It was just kind of like, hey, this is gonna start to be a problem if I keep doing this. So I need to supplement my aerobic training time in some way. I need to add more volume without the impact on my legs. So what I found, which were actually 2 really good things. So I've started to do row machines and seated, I guess, bike. So I don't know, I don't know what to call it. So indoor biking and then indoor rowing. So these have been amazing. I had never done them before, and shoot, man, I'm a believer. I love both of them. My heart rate gets jacked up. My legs feel great. I have a great leg pump when I'm doing this. It doesn't hurt my knees. It doesn't hurt anything while I'm doing it. So it's really training me aerobically. So like my heart rate going higher, and then just kind of pushing that. So that way I do have better cardiovascular endurance, but then also leg endurance. So those are the 4 things. So running, walking, weightlifting, and doing additional aerobic exercises. Those are my bare minimums. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over like what I've done for the week, for week 1 and then week 2. And then I wanna touch on what are my average weights, how many calories did I eat, what are my macros that I ate, my total intensity minutes, my total distance for walking and running, and then additional aerobic training. I'm gonna come back to that because I wanna touch on my personal body weight first. So right now I'm floating around 148. I would say that's probably like my body weight right now. Currently, it is the lightest that I have been, and honestly, it's the best that I feel so far. Like I had said before, like it's been a year long where I've had ups and downs and all this other stuff. 150 was previously my lowest, but man, I was fatigued. I was so tired. I did not want to do anything, so I had to back off of my diet for a little bit. And then only recently did I come back to go in for another cut, for a diet cut. So like after I stopped, I went up to 160, and then now I'm back to 148, and I feel great. Like everything, my energy is good, my mood is good, my workouts have been great. So I'm really happy with the weight that I'm at right now. But like I'm currently reversing out of a diet, so I am slowly adding calories back. But because I'm doing so much exercise and because my calories are still below maintenance, like I'm gonna keep losing weight for the next like 5 or 6 weeks or something like that until I get back to where I'm just maintaining my weight. So I'm planning on being around 145 whenever that ends. But yeah, 148's pretty good. I feel good. So yeah, that I just wanted to kind of share that. So looking at week 1, I'm gonna try to throw up some stuff onto the screen, like I think like a screenshot of my weekly weight, or like maybe I'll do calories and macros, whatever I decide to put up on there. Hopefully you'll have something to reference. So I'm gonna make a little room right here. So for week 1, my average weight was actually the lowest it's been. It was 146.8. So I'm keeping track of how much I weigh for the whole day, or for every day of the week, and then I'm taking the average. So that's what we're going to be looking at. 146.8. I think the reason it was so low is because I was doing so much activity, and I was kind of low carb, so I basically burned a bunch of my glycogen. And that's like just water weight that I lost. It's not like body fat. So just kind of keep that in mind. So my weight was really low. I still felt really good, but I was pushing really hard. Like every single day I was pushing hard. So my average calories for that week were 1,521. And you might think like, wow, that is not a lot. It's like, yeah, it's not a lot. There's a reason this is a cut. Like I don't have a lot of calories. I'm still like in a diet right now. So it's crazy to be trying to do all this activity on such low calories. So that's why I am reversing out of the diet, which you'll see in week 2, the adjustments that I've made. But even then, I was still feeling good. So for my average macros, it was 193.8 grams of protein, which was 52% on average. This is averages throughout the week. 52% of my meals was protein, which that is really high protein for my body weight. Like that is way more than a gram per pound. I'm doing a lot more than a gram per pound because I'm trying to not lose muscle as I'm on this diet. So yeah, so there actually is room to lower my protein a little bit. For my fats, I was at 38.3 grams on average a day, which was 22% of my meals. My fats, I want to bump that up, probably closer to like 45 grams per day. So maybe lower protein a little bit, bump fat. And then my carbs, like I said, this was actually kind of a higher carb week for me. I realized in the middle of the week I needed to add a little bit more carbs, so I kind of did that. but it was 101.2 grams of carbs, which is low for most people. But yeah, I'm just kind of like a typically a low carb person whenever I am on a cut. And I can kind of explain that here, like whenever I talk about week 2. But that was 25% of my macronutrients for the week. And then something I wanted to note was how much fiber that I actually eat for per meal per week on average, which was 17.9 grams of fiber. That is actually really low for me. I'm closer to more like 30 grams of fiber a day. So yeah, just throwing that out there. Just things to note and kind of keep track of is like my protein can go a little lower, my fats can go a little bit higher, and I think my carbs should also go a little bit higher. But I'll talk about that here in a second. For my total distance that I walked, actually, first, for my total intensity minutes. So how long was I actually doing workouts? So how long was I running, walking, weightlifting, doing additional aerobic exercises, everything added together, how long was I doing that? It was 1,080 minutes, which I think is like 18 hours or something like that. So for 18 hours of the week, I was working out. Those 18 hours, I was doing some type of activity. So that is a lot. So yeah, just I'm pretty happy about that. I think like 1,000 minutes is kind of a sweet spot. Just looking at my trends, like that's probably what I'm trending towards, which I'm not meaning to. It's just what I naturally do, I guess. So my distance walked was 24.58 miles. So almost 25 miles. It's a pretty good amount. I was hitting my daily steps every day. And most of this was just doing a walk in the morning, or like I'll walk 3 miles and then I'll run 3 miles back, do something like that. So I'm happy with the distance that I walked. And then for the distance that I ran for the week, I ran 13 miles. So that's right around my sweet spot. I was looking for 12 to 15 miles. I'm happy with that. I wasn't feeling too tired. I think that was really good. I did not do additional aerobic exercises for week 1. I hadn't started doing rows until week 2. And I hadn't started doing the stationary bike until week 2 either. So 0 additional aerobic training for there. Looking at week 2 though, this is where we're gonna start to see like, oh, I guess it does really make sense to look at this week to week, because then you can compare what's actually happening. And this is what I'm gaining from this, is I get to see what I changed from 1 week to the next, what I have improved on from 1 week to the next, what has changed with the stats that I'm tracking, and maybe make some course corrections. And part of that is based on like how I'm feeling, how I personally feel with doing all of this stuff. So the first thing is going to be kind of weird, and you might be like, whoa, what happened? But I'll explain it. So my average weight went from 146.8 to 149.1. So I think a little less than 2.5 pounds I gained. I have some theories as to why. I don't know if it's because of the additional stress, but I think what it really was I had added more calories and then I added more carbs. So I think I was just holding on to more body water. And even though it's 100 calories that I added on average for the week, because I've been in such a hard diet, like that affects me. Like it actually makes a big difference. So I just need to let my body water regulate itself, kind of figure things out, which this week it already is. So my average calories went from 1,521 to 1,626. So a little tiny bit more than 100 calories per day, which is good. So I ate more food. My average macros, my protein stayed kind of close to the same. So it was 195.4. So that's 47% of my meals was protein. For my fat, it actually dropped to 34.7, which is 18% of my meals was fat. So I want to bump my fat up for sure. And then my carbs went to 139.2. So 33% of my meals was carbs, and then 26.6 grams on average per day was fiber. So my fiber went up, which I'm happy with. My carbs went up. The issue is, and this is where it's kind of weird, I actually felt more fatigued this week. I think it was maybe because like the training had accumulated, like the fatigue had accumulated, so I was feeling it more. But I think it's the carbs. Like, because I'm constantly depleting my glycogen and then restoring it, I can feel when I start to run out of glycogen. Like, I was looking online and there was like something called like you hit a wall, where that's basically where you've run out of glycogen or something like that. Who knows, whatever. Again, I'm no expert. I don't know everything that I'm talking about, but this is just based on like my personal feeling, my personal like everything that's happened, and like personal anecdotes, I guess, whatever that means. So I would feel good, and then I'd be like, oh man, I'm tired. Man, I think I ran out. And then I would refuel, and it's just a constant cycle. Whereas if I was low carb, I was never really filled up on glycogen, and I was always a little leaning more towards like being empty. Who knows? Honestly, who knows? Either way, I actually feel stronger when I have higher carbs. So I think I'm gonna stay around 140, even though I get tired once I run out, or like once I hit the wall. But what I did was I actually, and this is a side note, I started eating overnight oats, and oh my God, they are so good. Like, they are delicious. So again, side note, I'm planning on making like a full day of eating. Like, what are the meals that I make? What is it? Like, I have staples. I basically eat the same thing all the time to keep my macros consistent, because the meals are easy, because they're delicious. But I added overnight oats, and my God, they are amazing. They taste so good. But also, like, I eat a lot of fruit right now, but I want to move away from fruit, like fructose, and more into like healthy grains and stuff like that, slower digesting stuff. But basically, yeah. So that is a little bit slower digesting. So it felt like when I was training, like I had really steady energy. That's why I started talking about the oats. For a second, I got lost. So I felt good in my workouts. I felt good when I was doing that. And I think I would rather have more carbs, feel stronger while I'm training, be able to push it a little bit more, even though I get tired once I run out. Maybe that just means I need even more carbs, but who knows? Yeah, so I would say week 2 went really well. It's fine that my weight went up. It's totally to be expected. I bumped 100 calories. I added 100 calories. So I'm going to just do the same thing for another week, let my body water kind of come down, and then add more calories. And then I expect the same thing. Body water is gonna go up. Let it come down. Like, it's rinse and repeat. Like, I would say the biggest thing about dieting and about training and about like even recording this stuff is consistency. Like, a lot of the things that I'm gonna talk about is gonna be the same stuff. But I think that's good, because consistency is really what wins at the end of the day. You want to show up every single day, keep doing the same thing, and as long as you're doing the right thing, it's going to add up, right? It's going to seem like small little things that aren't really going anywhere, but like if you're tracking it, even with like making these videos, like I'm going to see week to week to week, oh, I am making improvements. That's really good. Like I get to compare what's happening, rather than like not being able to see what's happening. Like it's hard to see these things because like they're a little bit less tangible and they take so long, but consistency is so key. And don't worry about like if your body weight goes up a little bit, or just because of body water, like just stay consistent and look at the averages. Like, it's gonna even out anyways. So I'm not freaking out that my weight went up, because my calories went up. My macros are fine. My training is fine. So Looking at the next thing, my total intensity minutes I had for week 2 was 1,012 minutes. My distance walked was 21.68 miles, so a little bit less than week 1, but my distance that I ran was 17 miles. So I basically took 4 miles from my walking and added it to running. Maybe that's why I was so tired. I just did that because I felt fine. I felt good. I wanted to run. I just had extra run clubs, extra runs. I was in my hometown. It felt great to run. So I'm really happy with those runs so far. In future videos, like I will talk a little bit more about like how far am I running when I do the long runs. And like what's the time? So for my long runs, I'll do like an hour, but like I want to note how far I'm getting within that time. And then like what's my time for my 5K? What's my heart rate, I guess, for my easy runs? I think those are the things that really matter. But for right now, I just want to look at volume. Make sure that my volume's going up. Make sure that I'm steadily adding more and more. And then I'll start looking at time a little bit more later. Just as long as my legs feel good, feel recovered, like I'm happy. And then for additional aerobic activities, I did 130 minutes of rowing and biking. So it's kind of split up 50-50. But basically I found like I could do one of them in the morning, one of them in the evening, or sometimes I'll just skip the morning and do them back to back in the evening or something like that. As long as I do something in the morning, I feel pretty good. But man, it jacks up my heart rate. My legs feel good. Rowing is like a full body workout. Like my back was pumped. It felt great. So overall, like those two activities really helped me because like my hips, my legs, everything was starting to get a little bit tight. Everything was feeling a bit fatigued, but now it's like, I can take on more. Like I can definitely take on more. And if anything, I feel stronger because I'm taking on more. Like my legs are getting more of a workout. And I love that. I absolutely love that. So I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to share for this video. Again, I'm no expert. This is just what I'm doing, but hopefully you can get something out of it. You can learn something. Maybe you'll train along with me. But we'll be doing this week to week. I'm gonna keep doing it for this week. Try to progressively overload. I forgot to mention this, but during weeks 1 and 2, I also worked out 4 times a week, if not more than that. I basically had a chest and something else day, a back day, a leg day, and then I had like two or 3 days of specialized training for my shoulders, my abs, and my arms, just because they recover so quickly. So yeah, like I'm really working on my shoulders and my abs right now. It's for vanity, but I like them. So yeah, again, I hope that you get something out of this. And if not, I'm gonna get something out of it. So either way, like talking about this really does help me. The plan is to share a little bit more about like what it is that I eat, what it is that like got me to start doing this. I'm gonna be as open and honest as possible. I'm not trying to script anything. I'm not trying to rehearse. I just want to hit the record button, share what's going on, be as open and honest as possible. And if y'all have any questions, just let me know. I'll do my best to address them. I'm not always gonna say everything that I wanna say in like one video. So like I'm not going anywhere. I plan on coming back. I plan on continuing to make videos. So I'm gonna keep expanding on things. I'm gonna keep touching on different topics, and hopefully, yeah, this helps people. And again, if you have any questions, just let me know. But that's pretty much it for this video. I just wanted to say thank you for watching. Good luck on your journey. I hope things are going very well for you. And I guess I'll see you whenever I make the next one. I think the next thing is gonna be like a cooking video, so I'll share like what I eat. But then, maybe talk about macros a little bit more. So with that being said, again, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, bye.